I never imagined that a Thursday evening would shatter my life into a million irreparable pieces. Mark, my husband of 50 years, walked through our front door, not alone but with a young woman clinging to his arm. Her name was Ashley, barely 23, with a smirk that seemed out of place in our family home. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood frozen in the doorway, a sense of disbelief washing over me. Mark's once familiar face now appeared distant and unfamiliar, his eyes cold and devoid of the warmth I had known for so many years. "Sylvia," Mark began, his voice betraying no hint of remorse, "there's something I need to tell you." His words hung heavily in the air, sending a chill down my spine. "What is it, Mark?" I managed to choke out, my voice barely above a whisper. The air in the room felt thick with tension, anticipation mingling with dread. Mark turned to Ashley, his grip tightening around her arm. "This is Ashley," he said, his tone casual, as if introducing a friend. "She's going to be staying with us from now on." I felt as though the ground had dropped out from beneath me, the room spinning as I struggled to comprehend Mark's words. "Staying with us?" I repeated, my voice trembling with disbelief. Mark nodded, his expression unchanged. "Yes, and there's more," he continued, his voice taking on a cold edge. "I'm divorcing you, Sylvia. Ashley will be living here now. This house is hers." The words hit me like a physical blow, the shock reverberating through every fiber of my being. I felt as though I were drowning in a sea of betrayal, struggling to make sense of the cruel reality unfolding before me. "You can't be serious," I finally managed to say, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "After everything we've been through, you're just going to throw it all away?" Mark's lips curled into a dismissive smirk, his eyes cold and calculating. "It's been a long time coming, Sylvia," he replied, his voice dripping with disdain. "You just never saw it." I felt as though I were watching the scene unfold from a distance, as though I were trapped in a nightmare from which I could not escape. The man I had shared my life with, the father of our child, was a stranger to me now. "So this is it," I said, the bitterness creeping into my voice. "You're willing to destroy everything for a fling?" Mark's laughter cut through the air like a knife, each sound a cruel reminder of the betrayal that had torn our lives apart. "Fling?" he scoffed. "Oh, Sylvia, it's much more than that. Ashley understands me in a way you never could. She's my future, and you're just the past." As Mark and Ashley walked past me, their laughter echoing in the empty hallway, I felt a shiver of disgust run down my spine. But amidst the pain and confusion, a sense of clarity began to take hold. This was not the end. It was only the beginning of my fight for justice, for dignity, for the life that was rightfully mine. As Mark's cruel words echoed in my mind, I found myself engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. Disbelief, anger, and heartache battled for dominance within me, each feeling more overwhelming than the last. I struggled to make sense of the devastating betrayal that had torn my world apart. Alone in the silence of our once happy home, I sank to the floor, the weight of Mark's betrayal crushing me like a ton of bricks. Tears streamed down my cheeks unchecked, each sob a painful reminder of the life I had lost. How could he do this to me? I whispered to the empty room, my voice raw with anguish. After everything we've been through, how could he just throw it all away? But amidst the overwhelming grief, a flicker of resolve began to emerge within me. I refused to let Mark's callousness define me, refused to be a passive victim in his cruel game. "I won't let him destroy me," I vowed, the words a solemn promise to myself. "I won't let him win." With each passing moment, the storm of emotions raging within me began to subside, replaced by a steely determination to fight for my rights and dignity. I knew that the road ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges and obstacles, but I was prepared to face them head-on. As I wiped away the last of my tears, a sense of clarity washed over me. This was not the end of my story. It was only the beginning of a new chapter, one in which I would emerge stronger, more resilient than ever before. "I won't let him break me," I whispered, my voice filled with newfound strength. "I will survive this." And with those words ringing in my ears, I rose to my feet, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For I knew that no matter what trials awaited me, I would emerge victorious in the end. In the aftermath of Mark's betrayal, I found myself grappling with a torrent of emotions, each one threatening to overwhelm me. But amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope began to emerge, a resolve to fight for my rights and reclaim the life that Mark had callously tried to take away. With the support of a trusted friend, I sought out the best divorce lawyer in town. Determined to arm myself with knowledge and legal leverage, I pored over every detail of my case, determined to uncover any avenue that would help me secure what was rightfully mine. As I sat across from my lawyer, Miss Johnson, her eyes filled with steely determination, I felt a sense of empowerment wash over me. Here was a woman who understood the gravity of my situation, who was willing to fight alongside me to ensure that justice prevailed. "You have a stronger case than you realize, Sylvia," Miss Johnson said, her voice laced with confidence. "Under inheritance laws, the house is partly yours, regardless of what Mark may think. We have leverage, and we're going to use it to ensure that you get what you deserve." Her words filled me with a renewed sense of determination, a belief that I was not powerless in the face of Mark's betrayal. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I felt as though a weight had been lifted from my shoulders, replaced by a steely resolve to fight for my rights. "I won't let him get away with this," I vowed, my voice filled with determination. "He may have thought he could discard me like yesterday's muse, but he's about to learn that he's sorely mistaken." As Miss Johnson and I delved deeper into the intricacies of my case, I felt a sense of empowerment wash over me. This was not the end of my story. It was only the beginning of a new chapter, one in which I would emerge victorious, stronger, and more resilient than ever before. With each passing day, I felt a newfound sense of strength coursing through my veins, a belief that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them head-on and emerge triumphant in the end. For I was Sylvia, and I refused to let anyone, least of all Mark, dictate the terms of my life. Armed with newfound determination and legal knowledge, I embarked on crafting a strategic battle plan with Miss Johnson, my tenacious lawyer. Together, we meticulously outlined our approach to reclaiming what was rightfully mine and holding Mark accountable for his betrayal. Seated across from Miss Johnson in her office, I felt a surge of empowerment as we pored over the details of my case. The afternoon sun cast long shadows on the floor, a tangible reminder of the weight of the task before us. "We have leverage, Sylvia," Miss Johnson said, her tone resolute. "Mark may have thought he could discard you, but he underestimated your strength and the law. We're going to use every legal avenue available to ensure that you get what you deserve." Her words filled me with a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that I was not alone in this fight. With Miss Johnson by my side, I felt as though I could take on the world. "We need to start by serving Mark and Ashley with an eviction notice," Miss Johnson continued, her voice firm. "It's time to assert your rights and make it clear that you won't be pushed aside." I nodded in agreement, the fire of determination burning brightly within me. "Let's do it," I said firmly. "It's time to show Mark that he can't trample over me and expect to get away with it." As Miss Johnson drafted the eviction notice with precision, ensuring that my rights were front and center, I felt a sense of satisfaction wash over me. This was just the beginning of our battle, but I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With each passing moment, I felt a newfound sense of strength and resilience coursing through my veins. Mark may have thought he could discard me like yesterday's news, but he was about to learn that I was not a woman to be trifled with. As I signed the papers, a sense of determination filled me, driving me forward in my quest for justice. This was not the end of my story. It was only the beginning of a new chapter, one in which I would emerge victorious and reclaim the life that was rightfully mine. As the legal battle intensified, Mark's desperation became palpable. His once confident demeanor began to falter, replaced by a sense of panic as he realized the magnitude of his actions and the consequences that awaited him. I could see the strain etched deep into Mark's face as he scrambled to salvage what little he could from the wreckage he had created. His attempts to sway the situation in his favor became increasingly frantic and futile, like a drowning man clutching at straws. One evening, as I sat in my living room, reviewing documents with Miss Johnson, the phone rang, the familiar jingle bringing with it a sense of apprehension. I hesitated for a moment before answering, bracing myself for another round of Mark's pleading and anger. "Sylvia, you can't do this to me." Mark's voice came through the receiver, tinged with frustration and desperation. "We need to talk about this. There has to be another way." I could hear the desperation in his voice, the realization dawning on him that he was losing control of the situation, but it was too late for regrets now. He had made his choices, and now he would have to face the consequences. What other way is there, Mark? I replied, my voice steady but firm. You made your decision when you chose to betray our family. Now you have to live with it. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line, the weight of my words hanging heavy in the air. I could almost hear the wheels turning in Mark's head as he struggled to come to terms with the reality of his situation. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Mark accused, his voice laced with bitterness and resentment. Seeing me suffer like this, it gives you pleasure. I shook my head even though he couldn't see me. It's not about enjoyment, Mark, I replied, my voice tinged with sadness. It's about justice. You made your choices and now you have to face the consequences. With those words, I ended the call, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. Mark's desperation only served to strengthen my resolve. This was not about revenge or vindictiveness. It was about holding him accountable for his actions and ensuring that justice prevailed. And no amount of pleading or begging would change that. As the legal battle reached its climax, I found myself standing on the precipice of closure and peace. The tumultuous storm that had raged within me for so long began to subside, replaced by a sense of calm determination and resolve. With each passing day, I felt the weight of Mark's betrayal lifting from my shoulders, replaced by a newfound sense of empowerment. The battle was far from over, but I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, beckoning me towards a brighter future. Surrounded by friends and family who had supported me through the darkest days, I felt a sense of gratitude wash over me. Their unwavering belief in me had been a source of strength, a reminder that I was not alone in this fight. One afternoon, as I tended to the garden, a task that had become a source of solace in the midst of the chaos, my phone rang, interrupting the peaceful silence. The screen flashed with Miss Johnson's name, a reminder of the fierce ally I had by my side. Miss Johnson, I said, answering the call with a sense of anticipation. What's the latest? We've received the final court decree, Miss Johnson replied, her voice filled with satisfaction. The judge ruled in your favor. The house is yours and Mark has been ordered to vacate the premises immediately. A wave of relief washed over me as I processed her words. This was it. The moment I had been fighting for, the closure I had been longing for. Mark's downfall was complete, a direct result of his own actions. Thank you, Miss Johnson, I said, my voice filled with gratitude. I couldn't have done it without you. It was my pleasure, Sylvia, Miss Johnson replied, her tone warm and reassuring. You showed incredible strength and resilience throughout this ordeal. I have no doubt that you'll go on to do great things. As I hung up the phone, a sense of peace settled over me, like a warm embrace after a long and arduous journey. This was not the end of my story. It was only the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with promise and possibility. With a renewed sense of optimism, I turned back to the garden, the sun casting long shadows across the lush greenery. The world was full of endless opportunities, and I was ready to seize them with both hands. For I was Sylvia, and nothing could hold me back now. With the legal battle behind me and the house rightfully reclaimed, I found myself standing at the threshold of a new beginning. The weight of Mark's betrayal no longer burdened me, replaced by a sense of liberation and possibility. Surrounded by friends and family who had stood by me through the darkest days, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for their unwavering support. Their presence gave me strength and courage to face the future with optimism and resilience. As I packed away the remnants of my old life, each item a bittersweet reminder of the memories we had shared, I felt a sense of closure wash over me. The past was behind me now, and I was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. One evening, as I sat down to dinner with my closest friends, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and camaraderie. It was a stark contrast to the tense and somber days of the legal battle, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. We're so proud of you, Sylvia, my friend Sarah said, her voice filled with admiration. You faced adversity head-on and came out stronger on the other side. I smiled, grateful for their words of encouragement. I couldn't have done it without all of you, I replied, my voice filled with sincerity. Your support meant everything to me. As we raised our glasses in a toast to new beginnings, I felt a sense of optimism wash over me. The future was full of endless possibilities, and I was ready to seize them with both hands. In the days that followed, I threw myself into rebuilding my life, each step a testament to my strength and resilience. I found solace in simple pleasures, long walks in the park, quiet moments of reflection, and the warmth of friendship. One afternoon, as I sat down to tea with Miss Johnson, my trusted lawyer and friend, I felt a sense of gratitude wash over me. "Thank you, Miss Johnson," I said, my voice filled with sincerity, "for everything." "It was my pleasure, Sylvia," Miss Johnson replied, her tone warm and reassuring. "You showed incredible courage and determination throughout this ordeal. I have no doubt that you'll go on to do great things." As I looked towards the horizon, a sense of optimism filled my heart. The road ahead may be uncertain, but I was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead with courage and grace. For I was Sylvia, and nothing could hold me back now.